here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the #1 seed of today's tournament. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, currently teamless, but deserving to be on a team. It is NightMare. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent, we have the Red Zerg player. Representing the Platinum Heroes, it is Eva. Let's go. As we are embracing the semis, and NightMare, he has been on fire as of late. If you've been keeping up with the results of the past week of tournaments, then you would know, you would be aware that it was NightMare that actually brought down Bjorn in last week's, was it the Tenacious Total Tussle, if I recall correctly? We'll have to double check that, but yes, NightMare did take down Bjorn in a best of 5. It was a very intense series. It was a crazy match, which did go the way of NightMare. Yeah, it was NightMare versus Bjorn in last week's Tenacious Total Tussle. It went 3-1 in the favor of NightMare, but again, NightMare, he has some of the best PvT in the world, PvP as well. What about his PvZ though? I mention this all the time, and I mean, everyone has a weakest matchup. NightMare's is PvZ. So if there were to be an upset at all, it would be this matchup. And also, before I forget, predictions. Before I forget, get your gamba going in the chat. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. Again, NightMare is the #1 seed. He did clown all over Bjorn last week, but that was a different matchup. You know, that was a PvT instead, and there are no Terrans left in the tournament. Here we go. We go, as we do have our gate expand here, a gate expand set up by NightMare. Eva likewise going for his hatch gas pool, standard opener. He is settling in. And we'll see how Eva is going to approach this matchup. Again, I do feel like a lot of pressure is going to be on our Zerg player to cause an upset, to try to catch NightMare off guard. We'll see if he can. NightMare is mid though. Oh, we have a clown in the chat. Oh, watch yourself, Abby. Watch yourself. It's gonna be a Twilight Count's opener out of NightMare. Ooh, much more aggressive here. Much more aggressive. We'll see where he goes from here. Does he go into Glaives? Does he go into DTs? Or does he take us in a different direction? Meanwhile, Eva back at home, taking his third. Taking his third base. Eva checking for a third himself, does confirm none being taken yet. And from here, Eva can send his Overlord into the main, and we get eyes, or we can already know what's going on. It is in fact Glaive Adepts. So Glaive Adept aggression here by NightMare. And he should be going into 4 gates behind this. Yep, just 2 and 2 in gas. Extra gates are on the way. And Eva already responding with a very early Roach Warren. This is a 3-minute 30 Roach Warren. This means that Roaches will be ready in time to defend against the Glaive Adepts, but now it comes down to the execution. Eva will have the tools to defend, but, you know, can he though? Likewise, this is not a 2-base all-in. From 4-gate Glaives, NightMare, his goal is to deal some damage and to transition behind this into a 3rd base, into a 3rd, into a mortal production, into a longer game state. This is not designed to kill, this is designed to cripple. It is designed to cripple. Eva back at home is massing up roaches. I'm also appreciating the SimCity here for Eva. He is ready to fully wall off to deny Adepts into his natural. Does have his Roach Warren and his Evo Chamber ready for that. Prism is on the way. Roaches are amassing. Eva sneaking out a couple of drones on a low link count. And the Adepts have arrived. Drone is in position, ready to wall off. And the wall has been thrown down. And NightMare is being denied. Behind this, NightMare getting into immortal production. Getting ready for his own 3rd, as we did mention. NightMare should be expanding. But these Adepts, they have to get some damage. Going for another warp in. And just building up. Shading once again towards that natural. Eba is able to wall up. Was ready for it. And NightMare doesn't commit. I appreciate that NightMare, he doesn't throw anything away. Like, he's still maintaining his adept count. He's poking and prodding, clearing up creep. Threading a shade into the mineral line. But he also knows that if NightMare loses any of these adepts, if he loses too many, he's going to trigger a counterattack. And then the third base is going to be knocked down. So these adepts are kind of serving two purposes. On the one hand, yes, they are threading bases and they are forcing this reaction, but they're also keeping these roaches pinned back home. And making sure that Eba doesn't move out. Because if he does, then he's going to lose everything. As these drones are quite fragile. This NightMare is going to be rotating. Do have an infestation bit on the way for Eba. That is to get into faster Viper production. Once again, Eba on point when it comes to walding up. But I say don't commit. Back at home, we're building up more Immortals. 3 soon to be 4 Immortals for NightMare. Ready for the roaches. This does dip into the natural. Going for the mineral line. 2, 3 drones so far. 4 workers even. 5 drones for 1 adept, well worth it for NightMare. Just rotate towards the left. And keeping you busy. Just keeping him busy, and Eba, he has now built up a strong enough Roach count to counterattack. Behind this, Hydra Den is on the way. Getting into Roach Hydra, eventually into Lurker Tech. Roaches are spotted. Eba forcing NightMare back. Force fields are ready. Up! Ooh, and the roaches are caught out. Massive catch. And the roaches, they do melt. NightMare with a strong start. Remember, he has 4 Immortals. Eba cannot fight this. Not head on, not with pure roach. And we have Spine Crawlers on the way. NightMare now moving out with a massive army. There's a third behind this. Again, that is 4 Immortals. Does hit the 4th. Eba massing up Ravagers. When I say massive army, I mean a lot of the threat of this army does come in the Immortals. Was that a kill? Ooh, that was a kill, not a cancel. Hatchery does go down. Nice first counterattack here by Eba. Does catch some workers, force the defensive recall. You want NightMare working towards the Bay, working towards Disruptors or Colossus. NightMare threatening a shade. This time he does get in. Does break into the main. Does he commit? 3 adepts do commit into the main base. Drones are going down. They're getting one shot. NightMare reinforcing. Gets 3 drones. Bringing up a lot of creep. Bowser won't quite get... Oh, they do graze the army. It's good. NightMare can't fully engage. And I believe NightMare, he hasn't spotted the base. The 4th. 4th is finishing up. 2 adepts, they get caught out. NightMare, he's rotating. He's looking for the expansion, but he did miss it. Otherwise, he would be able to knock it down. NightMare is pushing forward, takes down the Spine Crawlers. We'll kind of push into this concave of roaches. We do see Eba, he does collapse in. He's going for the Immortals, does get 1. Oh my god, he's losing too many roaches. The Immortal, it somehow survives. How? The Immortal did live. Roaches are melting. The Immortals did do so much damage to the back line. Hydras are trickling, and it looks like Eba barely has enough. He will hold. He will shut down the army. Oh my god. Did cost him a lot of roaches. Did break through. And with that, NightMare is being forced back. Likewise, Eba did get away with the 4th. It's up and running. I mean, it's up. And what does NightMare have at home to defend? Not much. He was pretty committed. No 4th. No 4th expansion. Eba moving out. And can Eba break the 3rd? He's so close to doing so. Last NightMare did survive with 2 Immortals. Eba forced to retreat. 4th base now on the way. Disruptor production has begun. And NightMare just now starting Blink. Like, this Blink is so late for NightMare. And Eva has breathing room. And he has a fourth. Again, this fourth shouldn't really be here. It was on NightMare to miss this expansion. And because of that, Eva now prioritizing the gases, droning up, saturating his fourth, taking into Hive Tech, taking into Lurkers. Eva's in a good position. He is in a good position here. Getting away with Hydra Lurker Viper. And NightMare is in trouble. Change is trying to get read what's going on. Eva, he will get eyes on the disruptors. Is aware. Upon seeing these disruptors, Eva should soon begin Viper production as well. Checking the production tab here. No Vipers yet. Still just focusing on Lurkers. As NightMare does move out, there's still a lot of potential in those Purification Novas. Can pop off, but Lurkers are in position. And as the Lurker count gets higher, Eva becomes more and more secure. First Viper's on the way. It's in production. Up! One Lurker is exposed. One Lurker goes down. Nova's going up. Gets one more Lurker. Two Lurkers so far. Oh my god! A bit of mispathing out of NightMare. Leaves out 3 Stalkers. Every unit counts. Speaking of every unit, Disruptor goes down as well. Massive pickup. Eva catching reinforcements gets a second Disruptor. Oh my god. 2 Disruptors go down at the same time. Mass Adept into the main. 7 drone kills. Ooh, both players are hurting. NightMare races back home. At the same time, we have Adepts in the natural. We have Adepts at the third base. 15, 16 drones going down. Oh my god. Eva, his economy. That's a big blow to his economy here. And it does actually give NightMare a bit of an edge. But NightMare did lose 2 Disruptors. Both players hurting in different ways. Adepts threatening once again. So we're in a situation where Eva has 4 bases, but so does the Protoss. So an even base count, even worker counts, that does give, I would say, NightMare an economic edge over his opponents. But army-wise, with all these Lurkers, with Vipers as well, that's where I have to favor Eva. I say that. Bleeds out a Lurker. Almost bleeds out 2 Lurkers. Very important pickups here by NightMare. Gets 2 Lurkers. And is looking for more. The Novas! Massive connections. Oh my god! 2, 3 more Lurkers going down, and Eva is getting picked apart. Ay. Where are the Vipers? We need them. The Vipers are still gathering energy. There we go. They're racing back. It looks like they did overextend. Expansion is denied. That's a kill, not a cancel. And the Novas are brutal. Forcing Eva back. And again, his base was denied. Oh, Viper gets sniped, gets 1, gets 2. The snipes out of NightMare. Gets 2 Vipers and a Lurker. Once again, Eva does sneak out an expansion. The base has yet to be scattered. Oof. But the Novas are brutal. And again, what is the answer to all these Disruptors? Usually it would be Viper. It would be Vipers, but alas, there are none. They went down earlier. As NightMare does rotate around. 24 Lings in production. I mean, Lings can also dive on this. Speaking of, they're coming from behind. Disruptors are going down. A very chaotic game. Very chaotic fight, actually. But Lurkers are getting caught out more so. And Nova's going off. There's barely, I would say there's like 6 Lurkers left. Another Viper getting targeted. The Lynx around had potential, did trade well, but maybe not well enough. There's NightMare, he's pushing in. Nova's going up, connecting. Ooh, barely missing actually some of those Lurkers. And where's the detection? Where's the detection? Oh no! Observer's coming in! Oh my god. A very messy fight. Disruptors are going down to 1 Lurker and 1 Disruptor. Yeah, the final Lurker does escape. Observers were late. NightMare, he was so close to breaking Eva here and now. Eva, he once again gets away with the expansion. A clutch transfuse from the high ground. Lurker survives and Eva holds. Eva barely holds on with 1 Lurker. Just barely. I mean, I say that NightMare still has Zealots coming in. Yoink does connect. That's still a lot of Zealots though. But barely cannot get that Lurker. Again, NightMare, he just keeps reinforcing. He's so close. So close to breaking Eva. Catching reinforcements. Transfuse goes up. Archons are on the way. And Eva, he still only has the one Lurker. Mortals have arrived. Lurkers within range. I just say two-snipe the Observer. Observer goes down. But GG gets called. It's just too much anyway with the reinforcing Archons, and NightMare will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. A very messy, like, final moments or final minutes between NightMare and Eba. Very close fights. Last Eba, he was taking some brutal trades against the Disruptors, but he was able to come in for a surround. Likewise, there was a moment when NightMare did not have any detection, so he was being punished as well. Very close. Very close. GG, well played. Eba taps out in the end, and NightMare takes game 1. Whew. GG, well played. NightMare does take the first game, and now we're getting into game number 2. Oh. Here we go. Getting into game 2. And it's going to be taking place on Alcyone. Do I see Demi in the chat? Demi, when are you playing in Sparkling Tuna Cup? What's going on? We needed some more Zerg representation, papi. Demi. Here we go. We're getting into game 2 and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alcyone. We have our South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing himself, currently teamless. It is NightMare. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Zerg player from the land of the UK, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Eva. And thank you so much to Neosin in the chat, or Neosin. Thank you so much for subscribing for the first time with Twitch Prime. Thank you, Papi. Thank you. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you had a great time. Hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the StarCraft. Hope you enjoy the tournament and the casting. Bienvenidos, Papi. Bienvenidos. Thank you so much for the support. Ooh, and welcome to the Sparkling Tuna Cup. We are still here in the middle of the semi-finals to determine who faces off against Trigger in the grand finals. Oh boy, and again, that was a very chaotic, very intense game 1. We'll see how this story ends. Can we bring it home to the ace match, or will it end here and now? So NightMare's moving out with the probe scouts. Eba did go hatch first. Does have his natural up. And we can calm things down. We can take a breath, Papi. We can take a breath. Appreciate you. Oh, gracias, Papi. Gracias. Again, it's thanks to the support that we get via subscriptions and via Patreon, and also YouTube memberships as well, that we're able to, and donations, that we're able to host these events, that we're able to fund our tournaments, fund events like the Sparkling Tuna Cup, fund events like Sea Duckling Open, and Master Swan Open as well. If you're curious, you can help support this event via Patreon or subscribing as well. You also get replay packs. If you want to learn how to play like NightMare, like Eba, like Trigger, like Geralt, like Bjorn, Shin, Trap, and many other big names and many other big players, that we do set up replays on a regular basis. Replay packs are sent out if you're interested. Otherwise, enjoy the content. Enjoy the StarCraft. As Eba did open up Hatch Gas Pool, standard opener. Likewise, NightMare back at home, opening up Gate Expand into Cybercore, this time going for a much more standard build. As a reminder, last game NightMare did open up Twilight Council into Glaive Adepts, this time NightMare opening up Stargate. Stargate into Oracle, into a more standard game, as opposed to the hyper-aggression that we saw in Game 1. Always enjoy watching your stream, Cranky. Thank you. Ah, Charlie. You're welcome, Papi. You're welcome. Ah. as we will be just calming things down here and settling in. We can take a moment to breathe after what happened in game 1. We can breathe. As we have the initial Oracle moving out, behind this, NightMare should be expanding, taking a third base, and settling into additional Oracle production. There we go, second Oracle's on the way. And it's going to be on Eba to keep up against the Oracle harass. Oracle hits the third. And will not quite out. Can actually force the cancel and get a drone. Okay, one drone goes down. Queens will be able to reposition. Zoning back the Oracle. Gets a larva. Not much else though. As NightMare's forced to pull away. Forced to pull away. Doesn't quite get the Overlord. That is a much earlier Twilight Council is what I will say. So with an early Twilight Council at this timing, I'm leaning towards Glaive Adepts. It could be Blink and leading into a 3-base Blink all in, but I'm leaning more towards Glaives here, which is how early that Twilight Council timing is. I say that. Never mind. There's a Forge. Okay. Forge is on the way. That does mean that it shouldn't be Glaive Adepts. Upgrades don't really impact Glaive Adepts too much. So it should be Blink or Charge. We'll see what it's going to be. And it is going to be Blink. So very early Blink here from NightMare before the third is, again, even finishing. Oracles move out. And I'm curious how many gateways NightMare is going to build up towards. Otherwise, just a safer start here by NightMare. I believe with this Blink timing, it means that if Eva were to go for a 3-base Roach all-in, then NightMare will have Blink Stalkers, or Blink will finish up in time for the defense. I believe that lines up. As Oracles, they hit the natural. Dipping in. Catching a couple of workers. 5 drones going down for the cost of an Oracle, though. Both Oracles! The flank does come in. Nice catch out of Eva. 6 drones for 2 Oracles, not the best trade from NightMare. Bearing in mind that Oracles, they're not just about dealing economic damage, they're about scouting as well. Trying to get a read on saturation, on the tech, on the gases. NightMare is going to be in the dark. And we can see that Eba is taking into at least a lair. Did have a safety Roach Warren. And I'm curious if Eba is going to go Ling into Hydra or into Roach Ravager. Does he make use of the Roach Warren or not? Meanwhile, NightMare setting up a proxy across the map. We spoke earlier about the potential all-in. Gases are not being taken at the third. Remember, that fast Blink is now finishing, and how many gates are we on? Oh boy, 7, soon to be 8 gates. Yep, it's going to be a 3-base, 8-gate all-in. No gases, no fourth, no nothing. It's just purely Blink Stalker. And if Eba drones up too much, then he might be caught out here. Stalkers have arrived. Lings, they try to engage. A lot of Lings going down. And Eba, he's teching. Not like this. He's taking up. Taking up into an infestation bit, into a Hydrogen. Can Eba hold? So far, he's buying time, but we have so many more Stalkers on the way behind this. Remember, warping in 8 Stalkers at a time. Ay, ay, ay. Is going for the Hatchery. Hatchery getting quite low. Lings is zoning back the army, but these are still efficient trades. NightMare, he has not lost a single Stalker, and he breaks the fort. Eba knows he cannot hold on. Just too many Blink Stalkers. The pans, they were down, Poppy. The Hatchery does fall, and NightMare, he can just keep going. He can keep pushing. From here, he can go for the gold, or even push up the ramp into the third. +2 is on the way, Charge is on the way, NightMare blinking back. The Link count is just melting before these Blink Stalkers. And now he's going for the Queens, going for the Hydras. And NightMare, he's snowballing out of control, he blinks on forward. He breaks through the defensive line, boys are being pulled. And NightMare, he has done it. Again, Eba just being a little bit too greedy there. Wasn't aware of the all-in, and NightMare will take the 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Not your standard execution of a 3-base all-in. When we saw the early Twilight Council and early Blink, that is something that crossed my mind, but typically, or at least I'm used to seeing like 3-base or like 8 gates without the Forge, without +1. So there was a bit of a different kind of So a bit of a different execution, a bit of a different dynamic there, as I believe it hit a little bit later, but with additional upgrades, and still hits like a truck. GG, well played. And again, as the all-in was coming, Trigger, he was taking into a Hydrogen, he was taking into an Infestation Pit, he was droning up as well, and all things not leading into army production, into Roaches, into Ravagers, into Lings. You know what happened? He was caught with his pants down, Bobby. GG. GG, well played. And with that, we have our 2 finalists. We have our 2 grand finalists here. It's going to be a PvP. Let's go. As to be expected, it's going to be that Protoss versus Protoss. It's going to be Trigger versus NightMare. Now, be different here.